Hello there, my name's Mark and these are my Droid Tales, and today I'm doing a more comprehensive playthrough of Race for the Galaxy. So, I'm just going to play a two-player game. I'm going to play versus the hard AI, and I'm going to play with goals from the second expansion, The Gathering Storm. Now this is a role selection game, and it came out in board game format in 2007. And since then, I think there was an expansion 2008, 9, and 10. And I think there's been further expansions since then, but they're not implemented in the game yet. Those first four are. So it's a sci-fi role selection adventure game. You start off choosing a planet and then choosing a hand that you whittle down from 6 to 4 cards. Sorry. And there's multiple ways to victory, which is why I like it. It's a civilization building game. It's a role selection game. You can play for points, so there's a points pool here, so that's similar to Terra Mystica. This came out first, but once the points get whittled away, you end the game. And once one's built or placed 12 cards in what we call the tableau, that ends the game. And because we've got a second expansion, that's brought in these goals down the right-hand side here. So you get 3 points if you're the first to have 5 victory points. You get 3 points if you're the first to have 4 kinds of any world. You get 3 points if you're the first to discard down to your hand limit. The first to build a 6 points development. And the greatest military, having 6 or more military. And the most developments, more than 4 developments. The first person to get to 4, having more than your opponents if you're equalled. So there are phases. Let's choose a planet first, and I'll go into the phases. Right. Right off the bat, because there's a military goal and have the most 4 types of worlds, this military, we're going to get to that phase, but I'm going to go for the military one. So quickly talk through the phases. Discard down. I got rid of those 2 because then I will get into my plan in a moment. So when I OK this, we'll see the phases. Right, so the first phase, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 phases. So the I phase, you can either, that means when you choose a phase, every person acts out that phase, but if you choose that phase, you get a bonus in that phase. So there are 2 choices. There is +5, so you draw 5 cards from the deck and you can choose 1. Or there is, the other option is draw 3 cards from the deck and keep 2. So it gives you more cards, but not as likely. The +5 is very useful when you're very used to the game, and let's see, you're very used to the game, and there's a specific card that you want in your tableau, which will boost your stat, whether you're looking for a 6-point development, a specific planet. Probably as a starter, having more cards and looking at more cards is more useful. Right, so the next one is develop. I think there's only one option with develop. If you choose develop, then you can pay for the card at 1 less. So the diamond cards are developments. Let's see if I can erase that here. So to pay for that card and put it into my tableau, usually in the development phase, I discard 2 cards from my hand and I could place this out onto my tableau. If I chose the development phase myself, that would be -1 cost, so I'd only have to discard 1 card for it. Assessment phase, this one's a little bit more tricky to describe, and I don't have the other type of planet to show you. So I went for a military planet, which is ringed in red. And that basically gives you a new currency, this red military currency, so I've got +2 of that at the moment. It's not a currency per se, it's just a number that grows as I get more military planets, if they have that plus symbol. But it basically lets me settle anything for less than that value. And if you look at all these 3 cards in my hand, that requires 2 military to play, so I don't discard any cards for it, but I can put it straight out. The next two phases, or the next phase, is the trading phase. It's a full card game, and it just uses the cards in different ways. So when I place one of these worlds, and again I don't have the other types to show you right now, but this Halo means it's a windfall world. A windfall world means when I place it, I immediately place a good on top of it, and what that means is I place a face down card on top of it, and that becomes a good, and I can trade that good. There's a different values. I wonder if I can see the values. Yes, I can here. So when I trade, if I choose a trade option, I can trade one card. If I had a blue good, I can trade it for 2 cards. If I had a brown good, I can trade it for 3 cards. I can trade a green good for 4 cards, and I can trade a yellow good for 5 cards. And there will be bonuses towards that as well. Other worlds, again, I don't have any examples in this scenario, but we'll have consume powers, which will say consume a good for victory points, consume a good for a card, and various options like that. And finally, the other trade phase is get ×2 victory points. So if I had a consume that gave me a victory point, but when I consumed a card, I would get 2 victory points instead. Very straightforward. But that can be a very quick game on dwindling these points. Generally, 2 types of tactics. There's a military tactic where you can build your tableau very quickly because you're not discarding cards and you're just finding military worlds to settle, and you're being a conqueror. And there's also the novelty goods type tactic, where if you have production realms that produce those lowest goods, you're selling them a lot for points, and you don't need a big tableau of cards. You can generally do it with quite a small number of cards and quite a small, what we call an engine. You get, you buy, you trade, and that is your engine, and that's generating you points quite quickly. The final phase is the production phase. Not all planets come with a good on them straight away. This one lets you put a good on all your planets, and if you had a windfall world, one of these Halo ones, they don't get a good automatically. You can only get one through special powers or using that ability. So that's a whistle high-speed ride of the rules there. Choose actions. Right, so I'm on my first turn. And since I've got... I'm going to settle. No, I'm not. I'm going to settle and trade. Because all my planets down here are military, and I've got enough military to settle them all. So I'm going to settle one, trade the good at getting it straight away, and get more cards because of it. You can see up here what my opponents chose. He's chose look for cards and trade. How can he trade? I guess, well, if he goes up if he counted on me settling. Ooh, I've got an interesting choice of my 2 cards. I'm going to keep that green one. And basically I can place these based on their points. The little hexagon is the number of points it'll be worth when it's in your tableau. And these 2 cards are identical. That green looking one looks nice. I think the settle bonus is when you settle you gain a card. I think that's why I've just gained a card there. And now I can trade it and I just discard it into the ether and get 4 cards for it. And that was an action. Also to note, in a 2-player game you choose 2 actions. In a multiplayer game you'd only be choosing 1 action because there's more people choosing actions generally. Right. So I'm going to develop, because I want more military, and I've got these Space Marines here. And there is also a goal for military. And I'm going to settle. So military, and discard 2 cards. Or only 1, because 1 less, remember. There is an undo button as well, as long as you don't go too far. You can't continue undoing, but you can undo your last world. He's going to produce, so I'm going to benefit off that produce and get a card on my green world. So this is not a Halo world, as you notice. It's a filled-in world. He's going for alien tech. You can see his board as well. So he had a novelty starting world, And he's gained 2 alien worlds. Now, aliens are the most expensive and the best trading good. They get more cards, generate more victory points, etc. So, focus on the goals. So you can sort of preempt what your opponent might do. I'm going to search for a card, because I want this victory point one. Potentially, can he trade for goods? He can trade for victory points. If he really wanted to. And I'm going to get rid of my green card. Yeah, he's consuming, so he's going for dwindling this pool and probably getting that victory point token this turn. Right, 6 points of development. So these are quite important, because these can rack up quite a lot of points at the end. They generally give you special powers. I like the iconography. A lot of people new to card games think it's a little bit complex. And it tells you how you earn your victory points up here. And it also keeps you a running track of what you're currently on as well. So out of those 7 cards that I've just picked up, what do I want to keep? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Basically got rid of everything. Yikes. I'm going to keep that small green developments. Lets me trade for more cards. Right, he's going to have to produce next turn to get his goods back. You can see he's on 14 victory points. I'm only on 8. And I've got too many cards in my hand, so I've got to discard, so it should get me the other goal of discarding cards. So that's for brown cards, which I don't have. That's for brown cards, which I don't have. There we go, so I earned the goal, because it's the first discard. Developing is going to work for me, because I've got 2 very good green development cards. Don't know why he's trading, because he has no cards. Look at what he's doing up here. He's also developing. Anyway, I want that one. Won't need that. Gonna say no to that. Gonna say no. No to that. That's going to cost 1, 2. I need both those greens really. So 1 settle action, I should be able to settle twice. He's doubled me in points already though, just by consuming. And that's 6 points. What did he build? Oh, the alien one. So 3 per alien world, 2 per windfall world, so that's, yeah. Quite a lot of points, and he might get more. Surely he's going to have to produce. So if I settle, that's going to get me that one. And gain 2 cards, I guess. I've got extra cards now because I've got this power. This card gives me extra cards when I'm scouting. Won't be needing that. So how many? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to need another development. Oh, I've got 4. Yes, I do have 4. That's why I've just got that goal. Is it helping with the points? I'm just not far behind. Should I just settle my worlds? So that's how fast military can go. I'm trading this one for 9 cards because of all these bonuses. This one says trade gain +1. This one says trade gain an extra one for every chromosome world, which I think I picked up a few. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, wow. That is the most wanted good in the world. But now I'm in trouble, because whatever I do next, I'm going to end the game. Ah, that's perfect. That's falling into my plan. So develop. I've got this 6-pointer here, which is going to give me 2 military, which is going to win me this grand goal for 5 points, as well as giving me 6 points itself. So that's going to jump me up 11 points. And I could settle for 3 points and get these 2 out. It's nothing worth more than that. So develop and settle will be the final turn. Even though the game ends when you build your 12th card, it continues to the end of the phase, and you can potentially put more cards out. So I will be going over 12 this time. Will it be enough? Because we are quite close, 32, 28. Ooh, 9 points. But that one won't take me. Ooh. What's just happened is, because he's scouted, I've got the benefit of scouting as well, without getting the particular bonus that he got. But I've now got a 9-pointer. And that will let me get this more expensive Rebel World out as well. So that'll give me 4, needing 5, needing 6. That should do it. What's that one? First with 4 kinds of worlds. I read that as 4 of the same type. Ugh. I've not played for a while, mistakes were made. But so instead of what I'm passing up, New Galactic Order or the Imperium Lords, I am going for Imperium Lords. So I'm not going to New Galactic Order. That's cheap as chips one. Good for the starting game, but not great later on. Another good starting one. Cheap as chips one. Expensive normal world. $37. Now I need to up my military, so I place this Imperium world, and I use my bonus. Oh! Sad news, I don't get the bonus of that card this turn. One, two, three, four, 5. I could place this normal world, Lost Space Spice World. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cards in your hand won't matter. All those other military ones that I could have placed for free were less victory points than this one. It's a pity I didn't get that Rebel World out, because that's worth more victory points. But this +1 military doesn't count until the end of the phase. I thought I could have played that planet and then played the 5-pointer planet. So sometimes get caught out by that ruling. $40-42. What a game! Wow. Okay, and another thing I like about this game, as I said, I love the narrative, so I'm going to sort of read through. I was always a military race anyway when we started out. We we moved to a nearby, this is Avatar, isn't it? A greeny leafy forest. We sent in the Marines. We fought the malevolent life forms. We then popped in research labs. Oh, nasty. We had to improve our logistics across the galaxy. We then moved on to a water world. We moved into the waters of the planet or something. Then the deserts. And then we started genetically modifying our people. Clandestine uplift labs. I'm not too sure what that is. Are we stealing people? Are we locking people away? I think we're probably locking aliens away. Let's go with that. Then unfortunately we had a rebel colony, which we had to fight off. So we stomped down on them as the Imperial Lords, which created an outlaw world in the outer realms that we controlled. But we were such powerful fleets, and we got such a powerful empire, that we found a lost species ark world. That's pretty cool. And we just won by 42 points. So my opponent didn't complete his 12. And what did he do? He was a lost colony who found alien artifacts and deserted alien posts. He became an alien tech guru. Great alien robots. Replicated his robots. With all the robots, half of his society decided to become empaths. Who built a gateway station. This is more, what's that show on Netflix? I forget, space one, very gritty. But I'm loving it. But going down that route at this moment. Public works, and he ended up with mining gems in a mine. Kind of spice-like. Cool. So that was quite a tough one. He was aggressive for his victory points. You can sort of see how his score is made up. If I can't keep it on the board while I miggle my mouse. So you can see that he has 9. The white ones are the goals. The 9 are the ones that he's pulled from the victory point pool here. And they're the goals he managed to attain. So he had 4 of the first 6 point developments, 4 different types of realm and victory points. Whereas mine, I have the 2 discard cards and have 4 developments. That's my goal, the white 8. I only took 1 victory point from the from trading. What would you even trade in the end? One of my green labs in my genetic labs. And the rest is just points on the cards. I think the Imperial Lords scored me the most points. It's also a good way of gaining cards, that one, for every military world. If I ever produced, I would have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards for it, potentially. So, that was a game of Race for the Galaxy. I really enjoyed it. This is my go-to game. This is my come-back-to game. The online play is very slick. Check out my last video for when I played an online player I was very lucky that it was one of those players that was playing there and then. Sometimes you have a turn, you wait a few hours, you have another turn. A lot of the time, there's always someone waiting. And considering this game has been out for quite a while now, I don't know when the app came out. No, I don't know that. But yeah, so Race for the Galaxy by Tom Lee. I can't say his name. I know when it was just a board game, a clever person called Caledon, I think, if I say his name right, created an AI which could get offline, but now this has basically replaced it. He's mentioned in the credits. So let's exit the game now. Quick look at the credits. So Tom Lehman and Keldon Jones, Rio Grande Games, Templegate Games, and all the fancy people. So yeah, that is Race for the Galaxy. I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching another one of my Droid Tales. Do check back for more, and as ever, I do like feedback, either a thumbs up, a like and a subscribe. and the comments if you want to say what games are you playing next, Droid Tales. And also, if you like skirmish games, do check out my Dice Tales channel as well. Thank you very much for watching.